Hello, this is the Daily Forex Report for March 6th. We're looking at the U.S.-Japanese yen pair first. This pair surged to the upside right before the news, the FOMC announcement, the unemployment rate on Friday. It did pull back, closed lower. We are looking for this pair to potentially go as high as 83.42, possibly as low as 81.50. Look for some resistance around 83.00. and look for some support to the downside around 82.00. Now looking at the Euro-USD pair, this pair continues to move higher. It closed higher on Friday. We are looking for this pair to potentially go up and hit resistance around 140.75, possibly moving down and hitting support around 138.95. Now the pound-US dollar pair. This particular pair closed down on Friday. Moved, had a pretty good range in both directions, but closed down just by a little bit, pretty much within this area of previous resistance. We are looking for this pair to potentially go as high as 163.79, possibly as low as 161.62. Look for some resistance around 163.42, and look for some support around 162.15. Now the U.S. Swiss, this pair closed lower on Friday. This pair is moving sideways. We do have a potential for it to break to the downside and continue moving much lower, much faster. Look for this pair to potentially go up to 0.9383, possibly as low as 0.9146. Look for some resistance around 0.9325, and look for some support around 0.9195. Okay, now as far as news announcements go, we don't have any significant news announcements, I believe, until Wednesday. So definitely nothing for tomorrow. Now, what am I looking at? Let's drop down to the 4-hour time frame on the Euro-USD pair. We're going to zoom in and out for a little bit. You can see that we have a fairly significant move to the upside. Let's go ahead and draw a trend line here. You could probably go back even further than I am right now, but you can see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 basic points over the past several, about month or so, or week or so, that has past several weeks that has created this. You could go back even further, probably to this point or to this point, and get a very similar curve on this. To the downside, we have one as well. You could start down here and draw this one. You could also draw one from here up that would be maybe a little bit steeper. And we'll talk about both of these. Looking at this right here, we have two potential entries. Basically, one to the upside. Let me zoom back in a little bit and take a look at this. One to the upside, which is currently from the open at least about 25 pips. To the downside, about 47 pips. For this. Now, if you're strictly going off of a very quick scalp on this one, you would take out this low. I do believe that would be a good place if you're selling short right here to go to break even, for it to come on down to the next area of support that we're going to talk about here in a minute. Now, if it breaks to the upside, obviously we have a very strong trend that is to the upside, so we should expect it to go up. You can see here that it's been moving higher for a good while. Now, where do we potentially get out? We have an entry point from our trend line break, but where do we potentially get out of this? We have to zoom out a good ways, but you can see over here we do have a point at which we have previous price action to let us know kind of where to potentially get out of this trade. I'll go ahead and put both on here. And to the downside, we have this peak as well as some peaks through here for a potential exit. Now let's zoom back in and we'll take a look kind of where these things are. To the upside, we have a break 148 pips from the entry. That would be a fairly strong day. I've seen this pair go 400 pips before in a day, so for it to go 170, not necessarily a big deal, but remember we are on the 4-hour time frame, so this could take several bars to get there. To the downside, we have an entry at about 52 pips, first exit at about 70, second exit at about 120 pips. So look for this to occur over the next session. If we get a pullback, you could just take this quick little scalp. If it continues on, I definitely at very least go to break even here if you don't exit to the downside, because the trend is up. You may even be wise not to take a short at this point at all and just look for the upside. You can see here we have two potential targets, a buy, first exit, and then a second exit. And of course you could trail your stop up. I would put your stop loss on the move to the upside right underneath 1.3924, because we have a strong area of previous support there. And I don't believe that if you enter this buy, if it does break above these highs, breaks through previous resistance, we are going to see it move higher, and then you control your stop up accordingly. Well, that about wraps us up for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.